Miceal, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Nice to talk to you. The Benhaffaf twins, Hassan and Hussein, who I've met several times, beautiful boys and good folks all round. They're in Cork. They're due to receive a very special gift in the post thanks to something you did. So thank you for joining us to tell us your story today.
Not a problem. And let me just say, one of my favorite photos is you holding the boys when they were still conjoined. It was just heartwarming.
Well, thank you for saying so. It was a very special moment because I remember feeling the heartbeats in close to my chest and thinking, this is extraordinary. Yeah, humanity and human life is breathtaking.
It is. As we say in America, kula bula.
Tell me, you got to Mr. Tom Hanks somehow. Do you want to tell us how before we get to what happened?
Yeah, I just want to be clear. Tom Hanks and I aren't friends. He doesn't have me over for barbecue.
Okay.
I know Tom Hanks. I first met him back, I think, in 1987 when he was filming Big in New York City.
Great.
I've run into him several times. I know Tom Hanks like he probably knows his dry cleaner. That being said, I know his people, and I reached out to them, and I got to tell Tom the story of two extraordinary Cork boys who have beaten the odds, and they're thriving. So when my wife, Oksana, and I pitched this story to Tom, we just asked him maybe to do something special, like do a selfie and thumbs up, and look what happened. It's amazing.
Well, it was what happened then was, I'd like you to explain, because Tom Hanks then got involved in a very hands-on message. Explain it to us for people who haven't seen it.
Despite being very busy with a project, Tom took it to heart. And now, it may be because Tom is married to a remarkable performer and entertainer himself, Rita Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
Rita Wilson's father's name was Hassan. So there's a little bit of synchronicity. And anyway, Tom took it on board. He really loved the story of the boys. He loved that they're fighters and they're positive. So my wife and I get this call at 3 o'clock in the morning telling us to check our email. Usually it's bad news. I download this video, and my wife and I sat up in bed crying. It was so moving. Tom Hanks wrote, produced, and acted in a film just for two very special boys, and it was really quite remarkable. I shared it with Angie privately on Facebook. It went out publicly, so it got picked up. It was meant to be a private act, but that's okay.
And in the video, we see what?
Tom Hanks starts with a typewritten message he personally wrote to the boys, and it's kind of funny. He says, "Don't be afraid, I look much older now." So when the paper's taken away, you see Tom Hanks' face. In the film, he doesn't say a single word. He knows that the boys love Woody and Buzz Lightyear from Toy Story. Those two dolls have been with him through all of their surgeries. So he pulls the string on one of the Woody dolls and lets it talk. We can see him autographing each toy for the boy, for Hassan and Hussein. And he's got the music of "You've Got a Friend in Me" going in the background. It was just remarkable. I mean, this is a two-time Oscar winner who took back seat to a wooden doll. I mean, that's pretty remarkable.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's moving, actually, as you describe it, because he just seems like a very kind person. And as are you, by the way, for facilitating it. But people are drawn to the two boys and their story, and this is another perfect example of that.
Yeah, well, let me just tell you, each year my wife, Oksana, and I try to hook up American celebrities with sick children here in Ireland or Irish causes. Last year we got the Beach Boys, Brian Wilson and Al Jardine, to sign special surfboards for the local RNLI, the lifeboats. They do remarkable work. We've also connected a bunch of NASA astronauts with Irish kids who are sick. A lot of people don't realize that with the Apollo 11 space mission to the moon, all three astronauts, the two on the moon and the one in orbit, all of them had Irish roots they were very proud of. Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, Michael Collins,
of course.
I mean, Eileen Collins, Chris Hadfield. I mean, the number of Irish diaspora who have done wonderful things around the world. It's not surprising to us that they want to do amazing things for Irish people too.
What is your connection? What did you start off doing in life, Miceal? Can I ask you? What part of the world are you from?
Well, the Hurleys we're a West Cork family. I joined the American Army the day I was 17. And after the military, I got involved in politics. I was lucky enough to work for Tip O'Neill, the Speaker of the House,
Right.
Joe Moakley on the Rules Committee, and then eventually Ted Kennedy. So I got to know very amazing, important people. I always say that I was a low person in high places, but I hope I did my duty, and I hope I contributed something. And so when politics was over and I stopped working with charities, I came to Ireland, moved to Youghal. We turned my 30-year hobby into a business, and that's how I met the Benhaffaf boys and Angie.
Because your business that you turned to after your time in the army on Capitol Hill and beyond was what?
I've been making ice cream by hand for over 30 years. It started with a car boot sale gift. I bought an ice cream maker, and I've been honing my recipes through the years. So when the economic downturn happened around 2013, we turned my hobby into a business. My wife, who's a remarkable person, who was the senior manager with Vodafone Ukraine as a trainer and HR manager, she heads up customer service. So between me making handmade artisan ice cream, her doing the customer service, Fantastic Flavours ice cream has become very popular, thank God, and we enjoy it. I mean, we get lots of awards for our ice cream, our business, but it's the kind of rewards, getting to meet people like Angie and the boys and their daughters, the people we meet every day from around Ireland and around the globe. We kind of enjoy it. We love what we do, and that helps. And
how did you meet Oksana?
Oh, I met Oksana at a business conference in Kiev about 10 years ago. I was doing some consulting, some mediation work, and we've kind of nurtured our relationship over the years. And luckily enough, we got to get married. It was kind of a difficult journey. Russia invaded Ukraine. She had to come to Ireland as an asylum seeker.
Oh.
More than 10,000 people have been killed since the Russian invasion. There's 1.5 million people that are displaced. It's tough. But we actually had to go before a judge in Waterford to get permission to get married. And, we've got 2 lovely kids now. We've got Blonid, who's turned 2.
Right.
And we just had Larkin, who's 3 months. So we don't get a lot of sleep, but we get a lot of fun.
Congratulations. I mean, that's a
thanks much.
pretty exciting adventure of a life you've had thus far. What did Oksana make of the comedian becoming Ukrainian president over the weekend? I mean, that's the breathtaking development.
Well, we kind of keep our hand in our professional lives. The editor of Diplomat magazine here in Ireland asked us to write an article, our analysis of it, and it's up on Diplomat.ie. But it's kind of amazing. It just shows that when people become frustrated with politics that don't work, they search for any solution, even a bad one. I mean, we've seen that with Trump. We've seen that with Bolsonaro. We've seen it around the globe. People go to the wild extremes hoping to make life better. And it ought to be a watchword for all politicians today that we need to be more responsive to our democracies, because in the 1930s, a lot of democracies went for demagogues and tyrants and dictators for the same reasons. Things weren't working. So we can do much better.
Well, it's amazing in Ukraine because watching the reports on the new president, it's essentially the equivalent of the Americans voting for Martin Sheen because he played Bartlett in West Wing. I mean, it's not far off it.
Well, except that Bartlett was at least serious. This guy's a comedian. He plays a teacher on television who inexplicably gets elected as president of Ukraine.
There you go.
And now it's happened for real. It's almost surreal. And I think on one hand, everybody says the man is a total idiot. But he ran a campaign on Facebook very effectively, very slick television commercials that Hollywood would blush at. He didn't hold any press conferences. He didn't talk to journalists. But everybody thought, oh, he's very positive. I'll go with him because he's positive. Now they're finding out no one knows what he's about. Is he, what's his economic policy? I mean, the only thing he promised during the campaign was, I will never let you down.
God.
I mean, it's remarkable that people bought it. And let me say that these are tough times for Ukraine. Ukraine is moving into the EU and NATO. They stand at the front line of protecting all of Europe, really, against Russian aggression. I mean, Russia has invaded Georgia. It just goes on and on. So to elect someone who's an unknown in a comic is either an act of desperation or stupidity. I mean, we've got to choose which one.
When you mentioned, I'm bouncing around here, but I just you've had such an intriguing life that when you met Tom Hanks when he was filming Big, which was one of the great films, and it features the shop FAO Schwartz, wasn't that the big toy shop in New York, which I think is gone now. I think I went to try and find it a few years ago and it disappeared off the face of the earth.
Well, the brand still exists, but it was in this big glass skyscraper almost across the street from the Plaza Hotel, the Trump Plaza now.
I think it's the Apple Store now.
So old New York is kind of missing, but it was floor after floor after floor. When you walked through the doors of the place, there were two guys dressed like toy soldiers from the Nutcracker. It was as interesting as the film portrayed it.
And you were the go-to man for location scouts in New York, is that right?
Well, when I left my job in Congress, I started raising money for the Archdiocese in New York. We were restoring St. Patrick's Old Cathedral. It was founded by the Irish just above Canal Street because, Catholics by law weren't allowed to live in New York City. So Canal Street was actually a canal, and as long as you lived above it, it was okay. So the old cathedral's in Lower Manhattan, which is now Little Italy. I found out we had tons of properties that had been donated to the church over the years that were sitting idle. So I did a deal with the New York Film Board, and we started to rent out the buildings for locations, everything from catering trucks to – I worked on Analyze This with Bob De Niro. I worked with Woody Allen, Hannah and her sisters, and I got to meet Tom Hanks. And, let me just say it was a very interesting time and incredible people. And a lot of them, believe it or not, the gaffers, the people that hold the cables and the microphones, a lot of them were Irish. It was very interesting.
And now you're in Youghal, which is really a beautiful place. We were there a few years ago and stayed there.
And you didn't stop into our shop, we noticed, but we'll forgive you.
I was about to finish the sentence, which was, we will correct that wrong. By the next time we head down, we look forward to stopping by and having do you do a Knickerbocker Glory or not?
Oh, no, but we do lots of other things. I don't know if you saw on our Facebook page, we do this thing where we press vanilla ice cream through a potato ricer, and it makes what looks like ice cream. It looks like pasta.
Yes.
And then we put raspberry sauce on top of it and a little crushed meringue that looks like
eaten mess,
a Parmesan cheese. So, we try to do fun things, even though it's artisan food and it's very good quality. I mean, we use real Irish cream and milk. It's fresh, local ingredients. We try to make it fun, too. I'm in.
But
to get back to your point, Youghal is a wonderful place.
Sure.
Come see me. Don't come see me. Doesn't matter. But come to Youghal. Yeah. The history, the people are incredible. The people in Youghal are salt of the earth. But there's loads of reasons to come to Youghal, and I hope everybody that listens does take a chance. It's really, as one of the newspapers that wrote about it said, it's the gateway to the ancient East. It's the gem of Cork.
Yeah, well, I think they're lucky to have you there. You sell it well. Miceal, it's been very nice to talk to you, and I think the gesture you made to the Benhaffafs was really sweet, as was the kindness of Tom Hanks to go for it. And I look forward to seeing the pictures of the boys with Woody and Buzz Lightyear in a few weeks' time.
We've got the FedEx tracking number. They'll be here any day. But let me just say, everybody can go out there and make a difference in somebody's lives by doing something positive tomorrow. You don't need to be Tom Hanks. You don't need to be rich. But you can make a difference, and I hope everybody takes that away from this story.
Yeah, well, let's do that. Miceal, thanks for your time. Really lovely to talk to you. Mind yourself and your beautiful family, and we'll see you soon in Youghal, hopefully. Okay, Slán go fóill. That's Miceal Hurley joining us from Youghal there. And the shop, if you're in town this Easter week, is fantastic. No, it's not Easter week, but you know what I mean, a holiday time. Fantastic flavour ice cream. It sounds like just like it is. It says in the tin, and we'll definitely try and get there in due course.